Hey guys, it's Bill from Linden, Tennessee. So there's a big old pile of undercoating. I think it's undercoating. I guess that's what you call it. I'm not sure if all Volkswagen pickup trucks got this stuff or if it was like an option, but it's like whenever they did it, they just came in here with like a big old brush. They just had like a 5-gallon bucket with this stuff and a big old 2-inch, 4-inch brush, and they just kind of went and just sort of slathered this stuff up there, because some of this stuff is really, really thick, but other stuff is really thin. And everywhere that's really thin, it's just worn away, and water got behind it, and it's just caused, just some really minor surface rust. But if I intend on actually doing a good restoration on this thing, that has to be dealt with. And I don't really see any reason to get rid of the super thick stuff. See how this just flakes off. I'm going to have to address that a little bit better. I don't see any reason to get rid of the really thick stuff that's actually stuck to metal. You can see sort of like, it's like primed metal. That's, that's from the factory metal there. And then just this surface rust. But, yeah, I'm going to have to deal with that. But I got my little suspension parts. Took them and wire wheeled them and got all the surface rust off of them. Same with the spindles. I need to press the bearings into those. Just an hour or so with one of these doohickeys and a drill with a wire wheel on it, and basically does the same thing as a sandblaster, just with more labor and dust flying everywhere. So that's set up there, and then the other one there, and they're all painted. So that's pretty cool. And then, oh yeah, back on track. So I'll just kind of roll around under here and show you what I did. Maybe we can see it. Uh-oh, I'm gonna get stuck on my pile of stuff. Oh shit. Excuse me. There we go. All right. Yeah. So up on the hill. So this is kind of annoying. I guess this stuff helped. This undercoating stuff. I don't know, but where these drain holes are, it just got on that undercoating and then just got back in there in that seam and just caused all kinds of rust up in here. It's pretty bad. I mean, it's not real bad. It's not rusted all the way through, but I mean, I kind of think that had they done nothing, it would have been better. But it's not as bad on this side, the driver's side. But just kind of everywhere under here. Now we're gonna do some upside down camera work. Everywhere under here that was, was kind of flaked up. I just went at it with a scraper and sometimes a hammer if it was really stuck, and just crawling around underneath here on a creeper. It turns out this is a really good ab workout with all this crap falling in your face. Now, I'm making this sound like it's a really horrible job, because it is. It's an awful job. I didn't enjoy doing it at all. Actually, that's not really true. It was oddly satisfying, because like all that side, I haven't got to that yet. But you start to scraping at it, and you get the parts that are really up. But then you start getting to the, the metal that hasn't seen daylight for, since 1980 or whenever. So it's oddly satisfying. And then you come back and you find a spot that you completely missed on an area that you thought you'd already done. And then you find these little dudes where they're brackets that you cut off, and those will cut the living daylights out of your hands. So, but anyway, yeah, here we are. Got the new leaf springs in here from Parts Place Inc. And they are stronger than the original ones. I lowered this bed with all my weight. Let's get back up. Let's get back up. Hold on. Hold, please. Oh, goodness. Yeah, so I've got all this weight back here like before. That engine's about 300 pounds. This is 270 or so. Another motor there's 100 pounds. So, we're 600-700 pounds back here. And I lowered the, I took the weight of the vehicle off the shocks and lowered it down in the springs. And before, with the old springs, it was just they were completely compressed, to the point where it was like pushing up hard on the little bump stops. The new ones aren't that. I got about an inch or two of clearance to the bump stop, which I suppose is okay. Of course, all this back here is simulating the battery, the Tesla battery that's going to be back here, and the drive unit is all going to be bolted to the chassis. So it's all going to be weight. It's all unsprung, or it's all sprung weight. And so that's not good enough. So what I've done is I went on Amazon or I went on the internets, ended up being on Amazon, found some helper springs, and it's basically just another one of those, that bottom leaf, and I'll take that off. I'll take that middle bolt out that's holding these 3 leaves together, and I'll put that new helper spring on the bottom of it, and that should help dramatically. That should solve that problem, and yeah, that'll be great to have that done. And other news, Christmas kind of came a little bit early. I ordered something ridiculous. So these are my new front discs. Yes, they are cross-drilled and slotted because they weren't that much more expensive than non-cross-drilled and slotted. I had to get new discs because I've got a new lug bolt pattern. So yeah, I had to get new discs. So you might as well get some cool ones. And while I'm buying new discs, why wouldn't I buy new calipers? So I got me some nice shiny red ones. So there we go. All this stuff is cross-reference to a BMW 323 or something, because they've got the same bolt pattern. So I wanted to find a vehicle that is sort of common. That way down the road, if I need to replace brake pads, which I won't ever need to replace brake pads, and I certainly don't need brakes this big. But anyway, if I ever did need to replace anything, then it's just BMW parts. So it's pretty standard. So that's that. Let's see. What else? Took the old caliper off. That was a pain. I ended up having to cut the brake line. So I have to deal with that. I don't know what else. I guess that's it. I feel like there was other things I wanted to discuss and talk about, but it escapes me. Anyway, over here on the Cub, some guy on the Facebook group showed how he had a engine hoist mounted to his 3-point on his little lawn tractor, and I'm like, I want to do that too. Now, I don't want to mount mine on the 3-point, but what I do want to do is on the bottom of this, I'm gonna weld a 2-inch piece of tube that'll extend all the way into my lower receiver hitch, and then I'll take and make some sort of a bracket, up here somewhere, or maybe even up higher, and use the top link there to hold the top of the cherry picker here. And then all I have to do is just unbolt that right there, the support, and put the little receiver, a 2-inch tube in the receiver, and then that'll be on the tractor. And then if I want to take it off, what I'll do is I'll get another one of these 2-inch receivers, and I'll just weld it to this bottom tube here, and it'll extend out, and then where that 2-inch tube comes out, it'll go into this receiver, and I'll have a pin. I'll put the pin in there and bolt these back up, and that'll hold it there, and this will hold it on the bottom, and it'll be sort of modular, so I won't lose the function of my garage 3-point hitch or my garage cherry picker, but then I can also put it on the back of the tractor and make it mobile. Now, why would I want to do that? I don't know. I have no idea why. Because it's cool. I mean, realistically, yeah, I guess you could put a chain on this and put it around the front of a big log, and then use the lift to lift the front of the log up, and you could drag big trees out. You could do that, or you could use it to pick up something heavy that is over at point A and you want it at point B. You could do that. I don't know. May never do it. May never use it, but I might. So there, that's that. All right. Oh yeah, I kind of made a thing. Here's the thing. Let's cut to the video of when I made that. So this is the dead axle from the Volkswagen. And these little perches, that's where the leaf springs sat. And I needed a way to take the little hub mounts that I made and have them parallel as absolutely possible, and square and straight and flat and all that stuff. So what I did was, where those little holes are, I whipped up some little spacers. I guess you could call them spacers. I don't really know what else to call them, but they're just 1-inch blocks, 1-inch spacers, and about 5 inches long on both sides. And then where that, I made a 3/8 bolt. I took a 3/8 bolt and I just turned the head down so that it fits that hole right there. So it fits that hole nice and snug. It fits this side snugger than it fit that side by design. And so all I had to do is just sort of put this on there and lined it up, and then brought it, and then got this little cross beam that is just sort of tack welded to those spacers, and then brought it over here and put the bolts and the spring brackets, I don't know what these are, plates on there, and sort of tightened it down. And yeah, lo and behold, there it is. It's nice and straight. I don't know if it's 100% square. It could be, they could be like towed in or towed out, or sort of like dog legging or whatever a little bit, but I'm not terribly worried about that at the moment. But I wanted to do this because now I can, it's not really necessary right now, but at some point I'll be able to use this as the jig for when I put my little DD on tube. There'll be a little weld on that side, and it'll come across on this side. And we are standing in effectively the front of the trunk, so this will come across here. And then, okay, so that was kind of confusing, I guess. Maybe over-explained, maybe under-explained. I don't know. I'm not even 100% sure that I'm going to use that, but I have to have some way. I have to be able to put this DD-on tube on here somewhere, and I don't want to do it upside down under the truck. So what will probably end up happening, my drive unit is, this is Sunday, so Thursday this week I'm headed down to Texarkana to meet Kevin. We're going to do the swap, large drive unit for small. So next weekend I'll have the small drive unit, and I can start trying to figure out where it's going to go. And then once I have figured out where it's going to go and how far it sticks out, let's see, how is it going to go? Okay, this will be the front. That's the front. This is the back. So so for Tesla motor, this is the actual motor right here, and then underneath this little can here, that's the inverter. So the DC 400 volt DC goes in there, and it gets changed to 3-phase AC. And then internally here, there's there's 3 cables that go across over to the motor, and then the middle part is just a gearbox. But the outputs, they are obviously going to go here, and yeah, and the motor and all that, the inverter and stuff will be in the back. The outputs will be there. So this mount here will be ahead of the drive shaft somewhere. And on the small drive unit, it's dimensionally the same because it can swap in and out of the same car, but it's, the motor and the inverter are smaller, but the mounts are in the same place. So whenever I do the little DD-on tube that comes out and over and then back in, what I'm trying to say is I need to have the drive unit in place. I need to at least have it scooted up underneath here where it's going to go, and that way I can design, I can build the tubes that's going to make that tube. And once I have it in here and sort of tacked nice and solid, then I can drop this and that will be tacked together with the tube. I can drop that out of here, scoot it over here, put this on it, probably put some more solid, make those welds more solid. That way whenever this is bolted to, the thing we were just talking about, then I can go ahead and finish welding that thing, and hopefully it won't flex too much, because shrinkage and expansion are the devil when it comes to welding and fabricating stuff. And I'm hoping that will be strong enough to minimize the amount of movement that can happen. But we will get into that later. We're not ready for that yet. So, yeah. So that is what I've been up to this weekend. I've still got more to do, scraping all that stuff out of there, but I'm glad that I've almost got it all done underneath. The other thing that I need to do when I get, I'll do this side a little bit better, because as I was going, I started increasing the amount of attention that I gave to, like, you know, this here, that needs to be done better. I need to scrape that off more. And like I say, this was all flaking. But once that is all done, I'll go ahead and put the new strut in here and put my painted lower control arms and the spindles on and put my hubs on. And then I can start taking some measurements to try and figure out how much backspacing I have in the front. How much room do I have from the disc to the wheel well when it's steered, you know, full left and full right at maximum compression and, you know, all that stuff. So that way I can figure out what wheels do I need to buy, or what size wheels do I need to buy. And then I will. Then I'll buy the wheels and tires and put all that stuff on here. Anyway, that needs to all happen. It's a lot. It's a lot. And then the crazy part is, even after I've done that, and I've mounted all this stuff, and I've got my battery box, and got the motor in place, and the DD-on tube is finished, and it's on its own weight, and it's, you know, looking cool. Then I'm going to take the whole damn thing apart, all the suspension back off again, just like it is now, and rip out all this stuff, rip out all the wiring, rip out the interior, the seats, the carpet, the headliner, door panels, get the windows out somehow, and oh God, I don't like to talk about it. Let's not talk about that anymore. All right, guys, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. What it'll do is the drive unit, not this one, a smaller one, will be mounted to the bottom of the bed, and that DD-on tube, so that's their drive shaft. The drive shaft will go out to one of those, and then the little DD-on tube will come like that, the square, the ends. Maybe I'm overcomplicating this, over explaining it, but anyway, the little adapter, whatever, that thing right there, and then the tube will come out here, go over as tight into this as I can, and then come back, and then that will basically simulate a dead axle, but it'll have half shafts going down to it, and that will be great. That's how that's going to work. But yeah, all right, that's all. Thanks for watching. Bye.